Hi everyone, thanks for joining again, thanks for tuning in, clicking on again. This is a short little video all about the Feast of the Ascension, which Christians celebrated on Thursday. I know some of you may be celebrating it on this Sunday as well. The Ascension of the Lord, the Ascension of Jesus. It's this feast we celebrate 40 days after the resurrection, 40 days after his resurrection, 40 days after appearing to his disciples. Jesus was lifted and ascended to heaven. Jesus ascended, transcended the visible dimensions of this world, ascended to another dimension of God's space, not to be separate from us, but to be with us in a new and intimate way through his Spirit. Ascension is what happens when somebody becomes a king or a queen, their ascension to the throne. The ascension of Jesus is the proclamation, celebration that Jesus, the Jesus who was crucified, rejected, treated as a piece of trash, this Jesus is the true King of heaven and earth. The proclamation of the first Christians, the good news proclamation of the first Christians was Jesus is king and Caesar isn't. Sorry, Caesar, we have a king and it's not you. Those first Christians said it, and we Christians today should live it and celebrate it. Jesus is king and Caesar isn't. The Ascension of the Lord. I want to start off with a poem by a Welsh priest and poet, R.S. Thomas, and it's called The Kingdom. It's a long way off, but inside it there are quite different things going on. Festivals at which the poor man is king and the consumptive is healed. Mirrors in which the blind look at themselves and love looks back. And industry is for mending the bent bones and the minds fractured by life. It's a long way off, but to get there takes no time, and admission is free. Mirrors. Mirrors in which the blind look at themselves and love looks back at them. When I was a curate, my training incumbent drilled into me the importance of the mirror check. Check your mirror, Father, before going out to celebrate the liturgy. Do not leave the vestry before the mirror check. I learnt my lesson when one parishioner said to me, I couldn't listen to a word you were saying. Your stole and your chasuble were all out of order, out of sync, misaligned. There's a problem though with mirrors. They can be very handy, but there is a problem and we should just acknowledge it. There are mirrors that can be so deceptive. There are mirrors that can be so cruel. There are mirrors that just tell outright lies. There are mirrors that lie, and you need to know this. I'm sure that hell makes a big proportion of the mirrors that we use. They're mirrors that make your face look so ugly, that exaggerate every flaw, every failing. The mirrors that don't capture the living image that is you, that don't capture your eyes, your smile, how we see you. Next time you look at a mirror that's telling you something ugly, you just tell it where to go. It's being deceitful. But there are truthful mirrors, ones with a more truthful light, with a kinder light. You stay with them. The best mirrors of all are in the face of somebody who loves you, of course. But the kindest mirror doesn't begin to tell you the real truth about who you are, doesn't tell the truth about your eyes, your soul, your light. The reality is that the only true mirror, the most truthful mirror for all of us, is not made of glass, but is composed of a human face. Jesus is the only true mirror, true image of God, so he reflects exactly what God is like. And Jesus is the only true mirror for humanity, for each one of us. If you want to see who you truly are, what you will be, look at the image, the mirror that is Jesus. There is no hate or sin in Jesus, only love. And when God has finished his work in you, there will be no hate or sin, only love. It's already begun. It's already beginning. And you can say yes to that now, if you want. Let that begin in me, Lord. Look into Jesus. He is the Son of God, and he has made, is making, and will make you a son of God, a daughter of God. Look into the mirror of Jesus' suffering. If you go into lots of churches, you'll see the Stations of the Cross, images of Jesus' journey to Calvary. If you look at that, it's like a mirror, and you can see your own life reflected back. Do you see where Jesus is condemned by some authority figure? That's you. Do you see where Jesus is beaten? That's you. Do you see where Jesus falls under the weight of his burden? You're looking at yourself, aren't you? Do you see where Jesus falls again? Do you see where Jesus falls for the third time? You're looking at yourself repeatedly falling. Do you see the station where Jesus is given a cloth? Someone reaches out a hand to him in all of that. That's you. Do you see where Jesus is helped by this unseen, unknown figure who just appears and helps carry his cross? That's you. That's been you. Do you see where Jesus is put on his cross? Do you see where the nails go in? That's you. You're seeing a reflection of yourself in the life of Jesus. God knows. But then look at the mirror that is the resurrection of Jesus. You were shut up in a tomb, says St. Paul, Romans chapter 6. You were so often sealed up in a tomb, shut up, shut in. You were dead, but God got you out, and God gave you life. The tomb, the suffering, the falling, the dying, it couldn't hold you. It never will. It couldn't hold God's love for you. He has made the whole of your life, the whole of your life story, his own. Before you were born, before you lived it, he did. He lived it all for you. Looking at Jesus, you're looking at a mirror of humanity, of all human beings. Everything in us is in Christ, and everything in Christ is in us. Everything in us is in Christ, and everything in Christ is in us. And now look at the mirror of Jesus' ascension. 40 days after the resurrection, Jesus ascended to be in heaven, not so he could leave us, but so that he could be with us in a new way through his Spirit always. Jesus is lifted up. Jesus ascends to be crowned and glorified. That body that was marked and battered and abused and spat upon and hated and disfigured is lifted up to heaven to be loved, kissed, and crowned. Today, look into the mirror of the Ascension. Do you see yourself being lifted up? Yourself with your frail body, lined, marked, scarred, loving, hurting, failing, falling, rejoicing. That self, your body being lifted up to be loved, kissed, and crowned. It happened to Jesus, and so it will happen to you. The only true mirror you will ever look into is the life and face and heart of Christ. Right now, you are just a shadow of your future self, and the kindest mirror, the very best picture, the most loving face, the most brilliant selfie only gives you a glimpse of that future self. You see, everything that is Christ is for us, and everything that happens to the humanity of Christ is for us. Everything that is Christ is for us, and everything that happens to the humanity of Christ is for us. So, the Ascension of Christ. When you forget who you are, when everything feels out of sorts, mirror check. See yourself, see where you are in Him, in His life. Today, especially, look into the mirror of His Ascension and let love look back at you. Let love show you who you are, who you will be, where you will be, lifted, kissed, crowned.